Well, my name's Dennis and welcome to my channel. Not going to ask you to hit the subscribe button. Not going to ask you to hit the like button. Not going to ask you to hit the bell. Anyway, today I'm going to talk about me and the way I see it. Okay, when I was a little kid, I was dirt poor. My dad was in the Navy. He made I remember him saying one time, he made like $100 and something a month. I'm telling you, served his country. But, we were poor. Mom kind of, she had to help around the house. She had to raise us two boys and take care of the house and, things of that nature. She had a lot of work to do then. Us boys, if we wanted something, we'd had to go walk along these roads and pick up bottles that people would throw out the window. Back then, polluting didn't bother us. People were driving down the road, they drank their drink, out the door, window it went. But okay, fine, we'll move on. That's how we got our stuff. We got extras that way. Because we get the bottles, take them to the grocery store. Man, the grocery store give us maybe a nickel a bottle or something of that nature. Not very much. And because he would get money from the Coke company or RC company or whatever, and, they pay him a nickel for the bottles. It was just the way things were. Take my lunch to school. It was mostly always a bologna sandwich, nothing else on it but mayonnaise, bread, mayonnaise, and bologna. Yeah, that's okay. I lived with that. When I wanted water, I go to the water fountain in the school. That was just the way it was. My clothes were kind of tattered. Other kids would make fun of me sometimes because of it. Some wouldn't because they were just as poor as I was. Hey, that's the way life was back then. But we were learning things as we were growing up. People learning things means, wow, we don't have to do this way. We can do it this way. I mean, like my mom would send John and I to the store with a few little bit of money and tell us to get this grocery list. And we'd go there and the grocery man would say, "What do you want?" And we'd tell him and he'd get it and put it in a paper sack, and we want some celery. He'd get how many sticks? And we'd tell him and he'd get the sticks and put them in another little paper sack and twisted them up, put them in the bag, the paper bag, whatever, a half gallon of milk. It's in a carton made of cardboard. But anyway, put that in the bag, whatever, things of that nature. Carry that home. We didn't have plastics. We had paper. People got all upset about trees then. All of a sudden trees came an issue. But then we learned about trees. We learned that we could take trees and treat them like wheat, treat them like corn, treat them like a product. And what we would do is we clear cut a place, replant it, come back 7 years, there's big trees there, cut them again, replant them. And then we learn, well, if we can do that with one place every 7 years, if we have 7 plots like that, we have wood all the time. And then we learned about, we used to take sawdust from the mill and take the sawdust and they would press it and make particle board. Things of this nature. Use a little glue in there, to hold it together. Then we learned about flake board, and then we learned about other things about it. So we started learning all these things we could do with wood. Then plastic came along. Oh, the savior of the trees. The spotted owls can live. Except for some radix would go out there and take spotted owls and never mind. But plastics. And then we started learning about plastics, different levels of plastic, different kind of plastics that you could recycle. Some you can't recycle. Some you can make things with, some you can't make things with. So we learned about plastics, but we also learned that plastics was killing the the environment. Animals were suffering. I mean, really. I mean, we'd run across that burn raccoons and possums and fish and turtles and all kinds of different animals because the plastic got into them or on them was either choking them externally, going around their neck, and they couldn't breathe, or they'd ingest it into their system and it would mess up and kill them internally. So we learned a lot about that, the environment. We learned about cars when I was young, Bonnevilles and everything, big old gas smoke coming out of them. And then we said, that's not good. And we started, the EPA came along and other people came along and said, reduce the emissions. And we learned how to do that, didn't we? We did. We learned about catalytic converters. We learned how to lower the emissions from them. What we didn't learn from that one was that we didn't learn that there's no reason to stop bringing oil into the country. Because when you stop bringing the oil into the country, your gas prices go up the roof. Now they're almost $4 a gallon. $4 a gallon. When they could be like $1.25. Because you got a president that has his head up his ass. And he's the worst president I've ever ran into. And I mean, I've been around a long time. And Carter was even a little messed up in his little thing. But Joe Biden, whoa, this man is really the worst of the worst of the worst. Has no clue at all what he's doing. But okay, fine and dandy. Only thing is we're going to suffer for it. But still, we learned a lot. We learned about electricity. We learned how to make a car run on electricity with gasoline engine. It's called a hybrid. What? Hybrid? Yeah. Run down the road on your electric thing, and when it needed power, the gasoline engine would kick on, charge, and run the car. And then we learned, like Elon Musk with his Tesla, all electric car. Okay, and other people are doing this, but it came with a cost. You got to charge it. Well, you just can't pull up to anywhere and charge it. You have to have a charging port, a place that you can plug it into. Electricity is not free, so you're going to be paying for it. Okay? Only way we make electricity in America is by hydro and fossil fuels, and I think we do still make some nuclear. I'm not really sure, but that's it. But you got to pay for it. Wow. But we learned about our fossil fuel places, our factories that use fossil fuel for different things. We learned that we could take and put scrubbers in the chimneys and other things. We learned this. We, the people of America. Nobody else out there was doing this stuff. We were. Okay? We learned that we could scrub that exhaust from those stacks and clean up that environmental mess. We learned it. We learned about the electric car. We learned about the hybrid car. We learned all of this. Okay? Nobody else. We learned about farming trees and doing all this stuff. We learned about how plastics was killing the environment and how we need to straighten that mess up. Okay? We really do. Go back to paper and, hey, you got it resolved. Don't make plastic bags, no more. Don't make certain plastic bottles that are things that can't be recycled. Don't use them. Use cardboard. Cardboard, soup used to come in cardboards. They take cardboard, they would line it with aluminum or something of this nature, and that would help seal it, right? And then they would seal it, and there's your, yeah. But we still use tin cans, and that's okay too, because that's recyclable. We learned this stuff. We here in this country learned that. Other countries are joined in on it, are reaping the benefits of us and our technology and our work. But now we've gotten complacent. We've gotten lazy. We went through all kinds of headaches in our country. We went through a revolution. Okay, it was a little tough, but we did it. Okay? We had some help from other countries that helped us, and we became the United States of America. We had some growing to do. We had a lot of growing. And so we went through a revolution where brothers were killing brothers. Dads were killing sons. Sons were killing dads. Moms were staying home with little kids or stuff like it. And the guy would come home and find his wife dead or been raped by the other side or whatever, and his farm has been destroyed or taken away from him and given to somebody. We went through all kinds of heartaches. We went through World War I, which was supposed to be the war that ended all wars, but it never does. And we went to war for the world. For the world. We, the United States of America, came to that war in World War I, and if it wasn't for us, they wouldn't have won. We, this country, was the one that built up the whole system that won the war. And it happened in World War II. Same thing. We're sitting at home. Oh, okay. We're not going to get involved in this one until, Hitler. Boy, wow, what a trick there. But anyway, we went to war there, and we went to fight for them. And if it wasn't for us and all the soldiers that were Americans that died over there, that war would have been lost. It would have been lost totally. England would be stepping around saying, "Hi, Hitler," if it wasn't for us. We might have by now be doing it too, but that time London was going down and going down fast and hard. But we came in. This country has done a lot. It really, really has. And the reason why it has done so much is because it's us. We knew we had to stand up. It's our mindset to do the right thing at the right time and always for the right reason. In this country, God comes first. We knew this. We knew we had to be this way. That's why on all our money it says, "In God we trust." We have to. And we fight for that, or fought for that. But nowadays, you guys have really gone down the hill, and really, for as I'm concerned, if I was to rate all the countries in the world as ones that stand up and do what is right, I would classify this country as the worst in the world. The worst. We don't pollute as bad as anybody else. That's true. We do a lot of other things that bad as anybody else. That's true. But the one thing we don't do, we don't stand up for what is right. We got little fascist groups that stand up for Israeli rights, or the Muslim rights, or the gay rights, or the LGBTFG rights, or whatever else. But we don't stand up for what is truly right. And what is truly right is the responsibility that this country has to this world. God made us great for one reason: to take care of this world. And you're not doing it. Example, Apple. Gotta have an apple. Oh, it's coming out. Oh no, the new apple's coming out. Gotta go run and get it. Where's Apple made? Anybody tell me? Of course you can. You all know where it's made. It's made in China. Every last bit of it is made in China. Why? Labor. Man, good grief. I'm not going to pay somebody 18 to 20 bucks an hour to build, a product that I can't sell for more because, people wouldn't buy it then. But, that means less money in my back pocket, says the CEO and all the little board members. So we'll do it in China. Let's say that. So they sell themselves off to and go out to China to build it. China is the worst economic and also polluting country in the world. True. There are times in China you can't breathe because they don't care about pollution. They really don't. They don't give a rat's ass as long as they get Apple to do their business there. But what are you doing about it, America? Nothing. You're not going to Apple and saying, Apple, we like your product. We really do. We all wait in line every year for your new up. We just cringe just before we go to your little show to see what's new because we're so excited. It's like the Tupperware of electronics. But we can't buy your product anymore because you have it made in China. And China is polluting the world, and you're not doing anything about it. If Apple was to turn to China, tell the Chinese, say, hey, look, we're out of here. Sorry, we can't make our product here anymore because nobody will buy it because it's made here and you pollute the world. Now, if you were to stop polluting the world, clean your act up totally, I can still make it here. But if you don't, I'm out of here. The only way Apple's going to do that is by you, America, standing up and telling Apple, go do it now, not tomorrow. It should be done right now, this minute. Pick up that phone, Mr. CEO, talk to that chairman of the Chinese government and say, hey, sorry, here's the rules. They're changing on you. Clean up your pollution world right now, this very day. Start it. Get it all cleaned up so I can still make my product over there and we can still make money. Because if you don't, I'm out of here. Because I got to make it somewhere and I got to make it where people will buy it because they're not going to be buying it if it's made in China with you the way you are polluting. How about Microsoft? Yeah, we could sit there and do that to Microsoft. In India, they have a lot of people there, a lot of pollution going on, everything else. So we could do the same thing with Microsoft. Hey, sorry, Microsoft. Yeah, you might have an operation system, but we're not going to buy any of your other stuff. We're not going to buy your Outlook, your Zoo, all these other things that you make. We're not buying them. And the reason being is because you got all your service organizations in India. And India is a polluter. Now, if you were to go to the Prime Minister of India and say, hey, we like to stay here. We like to employ your people and keep them actively making money so that your government makes money. But I can't do that because you pollute too much. But if you were to clean your polluting up, I can stay here. But you, America, won't do that, will you? Nothing. Nada. Not a damn thing. As far as I'm concerned, there's very few of you. Some are service members like me that were in the military. And the only thing my job was then is to protect this country from harm, not to govern it. That wasn't my job. Okay? That's your job. That's your fucking job. And you're not doing your fucking job. And that's why this rant is here. It's 20 minutes, 15 seconds, and I've said all I need to say. We've learned a lot, but we're not doing anything. You're just sitting back on your fat butts, not doing a damn thing about the problem. You think stopping the oil flow into America is the right thing to do? But no, it isn't. You're a stupid you're the lowest life president that ever walked the face of the earth. Worse than Jimmy Carter, worse than anybody. I mean, you are the worst. Anyway, there we go. Take it for what it's worth. Have a good day.